Hey guys, happy Friday. It's me, obviously. I always say it's me, and you know it's me because I'm the only one who records these videos. I love doing these during the day. I wish we could have more classes during the day. It's Friday, July 27th. I'm trying to fix my camera here. I'm going to be getting a new craft table this weekend, a little bit of a bigger one, because I think I need more room. I just feel like I never have enough room on this table here. Hold on a second. Okay. This is this wreath should have been done a long time ago, honestly, this class. This was originally supposed to be the Welcome Summer wreath. But now that we're getting ready for fall already at the end of July, I'm just sort of calling it a welcome wreath. Let me fix my blur. I just kept postponing this. Wait a second. I hope my microphone is working. Let me test it real quick. It's telling me to test it. Hello, hello, hello. Hold on one second for me. All right, it's working. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we got that fixed. I hope you guys can hear me. It said my microphone wasn't working. But I do want to get this wreath done because I have all the supplies for it, and I have the sign, and it's going to kind of be a little bit different than I had originally planned. I had originally told you guys to cut 10-inch mesh into, I think, 18-inch pieces, which is totally fine. You can still do that. But I decided because I can't seem to get this straight. Because I still have a beach sign here that I never ended up using. Because I had some leftover mesh, actually it's not really leftover, it's mesh that I had cut for another project that I never ended up using. And I think it would go good with this sign, and I'll show you in a second here. I'm pulling it out of the corner. I think it will go good because of the colors that are in it. They will go well with the sign and the ribbons that I have picked out. So this is actually the mesh right here. Whoops. Well, I'm just knocking into everything today. I'm all over the place. It's actually this mesh. I have 2 rolls of it. And this is the mesh that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby a couple of months ago. And you can, use this most definitely for Halloween too. But I had seen someone use it in a summer wreath. And I was going to make another wreath with it. And I cut my mesh and I never got around to it. So I think it would go good because it's got orange in it. Here's my sign. My sign is orange. And I got this, I think I got this online somewhere last year. And I know Hobby Lobby had them. This was part of their spring shop. I don't know if they have any left. It's kind of a heavy sign, but I'm going to use the sticky things, the little square stickies to put it on. But I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you guys a little tip. If you do use these, and you've seen me use these to attach signs before, they're near the zip ties. And they're just little self-adhesive squares, and there's holes in them that you can feed your pipe cleaner through or whatever to attach your sign. I honestly, if you have a heavier sign, and this one's a little bit heavier, I don't think I have any super glue, but I would actually take a little bit of super glue and put that on first, even though it's self-adhesive, and then stick it to the back of your sign. I'm hoping this will work because I'll just have to find a spot where it'll be hidden here. I would put a little bit of super glue on there too, just to give it a little bit of extra holding power, because I have had that come off a couple of times if the sign was heavy. So I have this mesh that I cut into 10-inch pieces, and we're going to do the poof ruffle method with that. I think you've seen that before. I only cut 1 roll of that, but I also have some of my yellow left over, my fabric mesh from my Be Blessed wreath. So I think I might put a little bit of that in there too, because I do have some yellow ribbon I'm going to be using. So I may fill in with that. If you have cut your pieces into 18-inch, your 10-inch mesh into 18-inch pieces, all you're going to do is you're going to ruffle it up and put 2 per tie, okay? Crisscross them. So the first one you're going to lay this way, parallel to your wreath form. The other one you're going to crisscross it. If you have 2 different colors, make sure that you alternate. So if you put one color on the bottom, crisscross it with the other color on the top. But you're just going to ruffle them like we always ruffle our mesh. So, I mean, you know how to do that. I think I have a piece right here for my flower. This is only 9 inches, but it's the same method. Lay it so the curl side is down and just ruffle it up in the middle to get your ruffle, but you're going to have 18-inch pieces. So lay your first one down this way and your second one down this way. So, but alternate them. If you have 2 different colors, put one color on the bottom and then a different color on the top. Hold on 1 second for me. Yeah, I haven't been feeling good lately. I don't know what the problem is. I have a doctor's appointment next week. Just to get a checkup. I just haven't been feeling right. So anyway, so let me just start this and show you what I'm going to do. You've seen this method before. You take your 21 by 10 inch piece of mesh. You can either roll it like that, okay, or you can fold it. And sometimes I kind of like to fold it. You fold it, or you can sort of like fold it in on itself, because you kind of want to hide those cut ends. So just kind of like curl it in on itself so those cut ends are hidden, okay? You can do it that way too. But I sometimes like to fold it. So you just fold it like that, the long way, fold it in half again, and then pinch it in the middle. And that's how you have your poof on one side and your ruffle or spiral or whatever you want to call it on the other side. I'm going to lay it down parallel to my wreath form. And then you can kind of puff this out once you get it on your wreath. So it kind of, you have a poof on one side and a ruffle on the other. Okay. Like I said, I only have one roll. And I don't know if one's going to be enough to do, because I want to do 2 per tie. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start alternating with my fabric mesh with this yellow. And like I said, this is the yellow that I had left over from my Be Blessed wreath. And like I said, I like to use my leftovers. It bothers me to see them sitting around. So I'm going to kind of just alternate now and crisscross it. So we have a couple of different textures and a couple of different colors going on here. The fabric mesh has a very distinct feel to it and texture. And then of course the regular metallic mesh. But once we get that all filled in, and then I'm going to alternate it. Hold on 1 second for me. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to keep using this fabric mesh because I do have a little bit of it left. And again, I'm going to try this method now. I'm just going to kind of curl my cut ends in. See that? And then I'm going to fold it in half, like that. Pinch it in the middle. I'm going to lay this one down first now. This is going to be a happy summer wreath, even though we're only really going to be able to hang it for another month or so. There'll be some very pretty and vibrant colors, and I have some pretty ribbon to use with that too. So that one went parallel. And I kind of saw this mesh in the corner the other day, and I had forgotten it was there. And I said I should use that mesh. I had a spring sign I was going to use it with, but you know, it just one of those projects that you intended on doing it and then never really got around to doing it. And it happens to me a lot. life gets in the way, you know what I mean? So this one I'm going to go across with our orange and green, and then poof that out. I hate when the pieces of metallic start to come out. It makes me crazy. And I've got orange pipe cleaners. Orange will work, yellow will work. It doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one on the bottom. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do this whole thing because it is a tutorial. If we were in a live class, you'd be forced to sit and watch me do the whole thing. But I'm going to just do a few of these just to get you the idea. Again, if you've already cut your mesh into the 18-inch pieces and you have 10-inch mesh, don't worry. Just put 2 per tie. So I'm just going to keep going around here and alternating my colors. Yellow, I'm going to do yellow on the top now, and just, I think that's going to look really nice together. It's going to be very summery. So I'm going to pause this and finish, and maybe I'll just start it back up again when I get to the middle. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I did the outside. Outside, there's 10 ties on the outside. I think I forgot to tell you this when we started. It's the same setup for all of our mesh wreaths. You have 10 ties on the outside, 2 bars, and 8 on the inside, 2 bars. They're spaced about 4.5 to 5 inches apart. I don't think I'm going to have enough fabric mesh to do 1 in every tie in the middle, so I may do 1 in every other tie, and the ones that I don't do the yellow fabric mesh, I'll just do 2 of these because I didn't have a full roll left of the fabric mesh, but I had quite a bit left. And like I said, I do have some regular yellow 21-inch mesh, but I don't really want to mix too many different textures here. So I think on the inside, I'll just do 2 of these in one, and then I'll do the yellow and 1 of these in the other. So I'll kind of alternate. So just kind of start anywhere you want. Again, laying the first one down parallel. This is not the best shirt to work with mesh. This shirt likes to eat mesh, or vice versa. I don't know what it is about this shirt. I think you'll probably find when you've worked with mesh, there are certain shirts that you cannot wear because they like to, I don't even know what this is made out of. It's like a, I got it from Walmart. It's really pretty. I got a bunch of different colors. It's a cotton polyester blend, I think. So, all right. So, how many pieces of yellow do I have? I'm just going to count it quick. 1, 2, 3. So that'll kind of work out okay. I have 8 ties in the middle. Kind of sort of work out okay, but I think it'll be all right. The sign's going to be in the middle anyway, so where's that one that I just laid down? When you start to get to the middle, it's kind of hard to find where you're at because it gets so full. This method makes a really, really full wreath because you're doing 2 of these per tie. And you're going to have a full wreath if you do your 2 18-inch pieces of 10-inch mesh per tie too. That's going to give you a full wreath too. So don't worry, that's not going to give you a full wreath because it absolutely will. So this next one, I'm just going to do 2 of these. And again, you can see what I'm doing. You can roll it, you can fold it. I'm sort of just trying to curl my cut ends in so they're not seen. Whoops, this got a little piece on the outside here. I'm just going to fold this one because it's starting to make me a little crazy here. When you get to the center of the roll, it's a little bit more challenging to get it to do what you want it to do. It kind of wants to do its own thing. Let's see what here. The sun's out for 2 days in a row today. Hallelujah. We had rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So much rain. And we needed it, but after a while it's kind of like, come on already. Let's get some sun action going here. I totally lost where I just was. Here it is. Again, you can do what you want. If you have enough to put 2 different colors per tie, go for it. I'm just kind of trying to, again, work with what I have. You know, in the wreath business, when you're trying to make money, it's always good to make use of supplies that you already have on hand instead of going out and buying more. So I think this next one I'm going to go ahead and do my other piece of fabric mesh here. I only have 3, so I'm not going to do it in every tie. But it's really not going to make that big of a difference. I probably could just pop 1 piece of regular yellow in here to compensate because I have 8 ties on the inside. But whatever, I'm not going to do that. Whoops. They kind of all blend in together. This Hobby Lobby mesh does have a tendency to fray a little bit more, which is par for the course with Hobby Lobby mesh, but this is really a great method if you want to use a 10-inch mesh to make a ruffle, but you don't ever want to cut 10-inch mesh down the middle. I've seen people do that. You know, they cut it in half to make it 10.5 by 10. No, don't do that. It's just going to be a fraying nightmare no matter what quality you think your mesh is. Cutting it a 21-inch roll down the middle is just not a good idea. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so then this next one, I'm just going to do 2 of my orange and green. Again, this is a nice summer color. You can use it for Halloween. These again were on clearance a few months ago when Hobby Lobby had that big mesh clearance. If you managed to take part in that, I think they were only like $3 a roll. I got some of the basket weave mesh. I grabbed some of this. I think I got some 4th of July that I already used. Now, why 4th of July was on clearance before 4th of July had even happened was beyond me. But it was, and I wasn't going to complain and say, hey, should this really be on clearance? I think you guys made a mistake. Now, seriously, why would I do that? Why would anybody do that? It's so nice and quiet here during the day when my kids are at work and my doggy likes to sleep during the day, my sick doggy. My diabetic doggy likes to wander in the evening. And you know, I read something that there's actually a condition that senior citizens get in the evening. They get very disoriented, they get very anxious, and my vet actually said it's the same condition in older dogs. It's just something about the evening time that makes them very anxious. And she just wanders and can't get comfortable, and you don't know if she needs to go to the bathroom, if she wants to eat. The thing of it is with her is when she's awake, she's restless. And she's blind, so she just kind of wanders around and bumps into things. And, you know, it was very hard to see that at first. But then, you know, we got used to it. She really wasn't hurting herself. We have certain spots in the living room that we have pillows to kind of cushion her in case she bumps into something. I skipped a tie here. That's all right. So, but when she's awake, she won't just like sit there and chill. She wanders. It's not like, you know, we used to be able to take her outside and she would just kind of sit in the grass and chill, and she doesn't do that anymore. It's like she just, when she's awake, she's on the go. And that's kind of hard sometimes. Because again, you know, she can't talk. We don't know what's wrong, if anything is wrong. So we take her out to go to the bathroom and we see if maybe that's the problem. Does she do number one? Does she do number two? Does she want to eat? Is she thirsty? It's kind of like, yeah, it's a little bit exhausting. But you do what you have to do, you know? Just like you're caring for a sick parent or a sick child. You know, you don't give up on them when they're sick, obviously. You just try to make them comfortable and happy. Is there two on this one already? Yes, there is. Where am I? I always forget where I leave off. 1, 2, I just put one down. I think this is the one that I skipped. Okay. Where is it? There it is. Trying to tuck this. See, this cut end is sort of showing, and I don't want that to show. I'm sort of trying to tuck it in a little bit because I don't like cut ends to show. I'm going to cover that up with some ribbon, or maybe the sign will cover that up because it's already starting to fray a little bit. Tuck that right in so we don't see it. All right, let me see what I have going on here. I have 2 ties, 3 ties on the inside left. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this on the bottom, and then I'm going to use my last yellow piece. I'm going off camera as I'm folding. I'm sorry. I don't realize I'm even doing that. Make sure I don't do that for the next one. I'm going to do this one on the bottom, and I'm going to do my last yellow piece on the top. So I managed to use all my fabric mesh. If you have never tried fabric mesh, it's just so soft. It does still fray, but not as bad as, you can see the consistency of it. It doesn't fray as bad as the regular mesh. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's just so nice to work with. And the texture, it gives it a nice, gives your wreaths a nice texture. Cannot cut it with the wood burning tool. That's the only problem. If you like using the wood burning tool, it's not going to cut through that. Honestly, what I do is I get my scissors, I cut it by hand. I don't use the rotary cutter. It takes a little bit longer, but I just go ahead and I cut right in between the grid lines, because once again, even if you're using a wood burning tool, you can't just like swipe it down like you do a rotary cutter. You need to be able to follow the grid lines of the mesh, and that's going to cut down on your frays as well. So I'm just going to use this now. I'm all out of yellow. Again, I can throw in a piece of my regular metallic, but I'm not going to do that. I think we have enough yellow in there. And 2 more ties. So there's 8 ties on the inside. I mentioned that. And this is a Dollar Tree frame. You can use a work wreath frame. It doesn't matter, the 15-inch work wreath frame. But I had a case of Dollar Tree frames that I got when the work wreath frames were hard to find a few months ago. And I just got a bunch of different colors of pipe cleaners. Hobby Lobby has all different colors of pipe cleaners too, just so you know. They're not in the wreath section. You have to go toward the back of the store. I don't even know what section they're in, but they have a bunch of different colors. Turquoise and green and red, and they had this orange. In fact, I have to go back and get some more orange for our pumpkin wreath. And just some other Halloween wreaths. You know, you could use orange, you could use black for Halloween, you could use purple. They have the colored ones usually at Halloween time at the Dollar Tree. But to be honest, I'll use those, but they're sort of like sparkly, like tinsely. They're not as strong, in my opinion. I've had those break on me a lot. The little tinsel ones from the Dollar Tree. So maybe I just pulled them too hard. Maybe that was the problem. So this is my last tie. I'm just going to go in again with the 2 orange and the green because I'm out of yellow. But again, this is all mesh that I had. So again, I sat there thinking about it, you know, before class a couple of days ago, and I thought, you know, this mesh would look really cute with this sign because it's got orange in it, and I've got some green ribbon that I planned on using. You know, why go out and buy more mesh? So that's that. It is supposed to rain though later today, so I think the clouds are already starting to come out now. Okay, last one. Look how nice and full that is. This makes a really, really full wreath. And I think if any of you have been in my classes before, and you saw, it's a little bit squished over here because it's just, like I said, it gets really full. You've seen me do the method here with the 21-inch mesh, and it does. It's just really full. You can see. But I think that looks pretty. That came out good. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. I get a million texts during the day. Sorry. I hate texting too. Okay. Got a bunch of really pretty ribbons here that we're going to be using, but I want to show you the ribbons, but I want to do the sign first. This one is a really gorgeous 2.5 orange with red polka dots. And I have a pink, even though I don't have any pink in my sign. I just love this ribbon and I wanted to use it. 2.5 inch, and then I also have a 1.5 inch in a fun green polka dot and a 1.5 inch in this striped and yellow polka dot. So some really fun colors here. Again, this is a fun summery wreath. One more fun summer wreath. I think we have the lighthouse wreath that we're going to do on Sunday, and then that's it for summer wreaths for a while. I think we're going to be moving on to fall. I always like to pair a 1.5 with a 2.5 inch ribbon. I don't know which one I'm going to use with which yet, but let's go ahead and get our sign on. Now again, if I had super glue, which I thought I did, but I don't, I would go ahead and I would use a little super glue on the bottoms of these, just to give it a little bit of extra holding power, but I don't. So that's all right. Maybe I'll go back after and put some on. This is just kind of a heavier sign, that's all. A little bit of a sticker back here. I didn't see that was on there. I think I have to try to find the widest point of my sign, which is this and the W here, so it doesn't show on the other side. And then I'm going to probably have to put it over here in between the M and the E. You can use any welcome sign you want. You can use any sign you want. You don't have to get this one. This is a very popular sign. They did have it at Hobby Lobby. I know I couldn't find it at Hobby Lobby. I got this one last year, like I said. I've had this one for a little while. It was supposed to be for a wreath that I was going to make for a friend of mine who had just moved into a new house, and then she decided she didn't want that color. So, and you can see how there's little holes in the back. You just go ahead and put it through like that. And you don't want to pull the whole thing through. You just want to do a little bit just to twist it on there so it doesn't show. You may be able to see this on the other side when I pull the pipe cleaner through, but there's really no room here for me to, unless maybe I can put it here. I already put it on, so I just don't want the sticky to show on the other side. So if a little bit of the pipe cleaner shows through my W, then it's not the end of the world. All right, so just go ahead and kind of lay it where you want it. And then I love hanging signs, and I'm being totally sarcastic. Feed it through, and then I try to find a crossbar to attach it to. Because a lot of times if you don't attach it to a crossbar, and then you go ahead and you hold it up, it's going to slide. So don't attach it too tight yet. Just wind it around a couple of times around your crossbar. That is your crossbar, obviously. Don't squish it down too tight. You don't squish your mesh. The other side. Okay, find the crossbar. Nothing worse than getting your sign all secured and then you find out and you hold it up and it slides. It's not fun. Well, there we go. You can hang it just like that. I think I'm blurry again. Or you can hang it like that to make it look like your sign's a little bit to the side. Whatever you want to do. You could have it like a little bit angled. I think I kind of like mine in the middle. Let me hold it up and see if it's sliding. It seems to be okay. I'm actually going to tighten this one up a little bit over here. It's kind of sliding down a little bit. We can cut off that excess after. There we go. Very nice. Again, you can hang your sign that you can hang your wreath that way or that way. I can't remember how it is in the, so it looks like it's a little bit angled, or just have it straight. It's totally up to you. I kind of like the way it looks straight. Okay. So let's get our pretty ribbons. I think I'm going to do the orange with the lime green, just like that. These are 13, or actually 14 inches. Pinch in the middle. I start on the outside. I don't always do ribbon on every tie on the inside, but I do them on every tie on the outside. And after I twist it on, I like to have them facing out. Like this. And then your extra, get a little bit of extra pipe cleaner here. Don't cut that off yet, because what we're going to do is add a little bow tie on top of that. You can get some of your ribbon and cut extra pieces at 15 inches. And I think I cut, you can do the 2.5 or you can do the 1.5, it doesn't matter. I did one of the 2.5 in a 15-inch piece. Fold it together so your ends are overlapped. Pinch it in the middle. And place it right on top of your ribbon bundle. And then you have your little fancy schmancy bow tie. Take your little center piece here. You can kind of curl it in. A little extra that you have left, the extra pipe cleaner piece, just kind of push it in. And it's orange, so it kind of blends in with the orange ribbon. And even if you have other colors of ribbon, it's still, you know, orange. It's going to kind of match everything. But there's your little ribbon bundle here. I'm going to pause this for 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Oh, it didn't pause. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm going to do the pink with the green polka dot. Again, these are very fun colors. Oh, you know what? This is the wrong one. This is the one I didn't dovetail. Again, if you are going to be adding bow ties to your centers, don't dovetail those. Again, I'm not going to make you watch me add all the ribbon because I'm very fussy when it comes to my ribbon, and sometimes it takes me a little while to add my ribbon bundles. And this is why our classes are 2 hours long, because I take my time. I make sure they're not twisted. They're laying the way I want them to lay. Okay. So I think on this one, I'm going to put my polka dot ribbon as my bow tie. You can use either your 24, excuse me, you can use either your 2.5 inch I'm going to use the 1.5 inch. I mean, you know what? whatever you want to do. So I have the 2.5, 1 inch for my bow tie here. I'm going to do the 1.5 inch one here. A lot of times it has to do with how much ribbon I have too. If I, because I have a site that I order from called Perpetual Ribbons, and she doesn't have full rolls of ribbon. I know what you're thinking. That's, you know, that's a ripoff. But honestly, if I am looking for a certain type of ribbon, and I only want enough for that one wreath, it's nice just to be able to buy 3 yards or 5 yards and not have to have a whole roll. So in those instances where I only have a certain amount, I will use what I have more of to cut my extra long pieces for my bow ties. That makes sense. All right, there's my little green polka dot bow tie, and isn't it cute? All right, so what I'm going to basically do is I'm just going to alternate. I'm going to do this one in this next tie. I'm going to do this one again in the tie after that, and I'm going to go all the way around alternating my ribbon, and then we're going to move on to the middle. So I'm just going to pause it, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I don't know how long it took me, maybe about a half hour or so to do all the ribbon on the outside. But you can see why I like to do it that way. I like to have all my ribbon going out to sort of frame the wreath. You can see how pretty that is. Let me sort of lift this up a little bit here. You can see how nice all those ribbons look and they frame the wreath. Very pretty. These are really fun ribbons, really fun summer ribbons. Last wreath of the summer, most likely. I think we just have, again, the one on Sunday, the lighthouse wreath. But, so those went in every tie, and I put a bow tie in every tie as well. I sort of alternated the colors that I use. But look how pretty and colorful that is. Isn't that nice? Now we're going to do some on the inside. Now I don't, like I said, I don't typically put ribbon in every tie on the inside. I kind of see as I go along how it looks. And I usually start around the sign. And a lot of times you can find that your sign covers your pipe cleaners and they get buried. You're not going to be able to use those. Like I can see one down here. I'm not going to be able to use it because it's sort of buried under my sign. So sort of find one. Here's one right here that might still be too far under the sign. So I'm just going to kind of tuck that one in. Get some phrase here. Okay, so let's see. Here's one right here I think I'm going to use. Now, what I always tell people is when you're adding your ribbon to the inside ties, you're not going to want to go down all the way, because if you go down all the way to the bottom of your tie, your ribbon's going to get lost in there. And you don't want it to get lost. And this is kind of a little bit tricky. But go down like halfway down your pipe cleaner and then secure your ribbon. That way it's not squished all the way down there, and you can then take it and spread it out to sort of frame your sign. Okay? Again, if you were to push it all the way down to the bottom of the tie, like I did on the outside, it's going to get lost. Your ribbon's going to get lost. Another thing I wanted to mention to you is that when you're attaching it to your pipe cleaner, try to make sure it's not too bunched up in the middle, because if it's really bunched up in the middle, your ribbon's not going to lay right. So I'm going to put another bow tie here. You're going to find it might be a little more challenging because you don't have as much pipe cleaner to work with, but just take your time because you didn't go all the way down to the bottom of the pipe cleaner. But again, if you did that, your ribbon's going to get lost. You're not going to be able to see it, and you want to be able to see your ribbon. Just kind of like frame your sign a little bit. Like that. See how pretty? She's been sleeping. She's probably gonna have to go pee. I'm almost done here. Can you take her out? I'm almost done. My daughter just got home. Okay. Here's another pipe cleaner here. I'm not going to use that one. Like I said, I don't put ribbon every tie on the top. I just don't do that. I don't like to overwhelm it with ribbon. So let's go over to this one here. And we'll do the pink and the green polka dot. Again, don't go all the way to the bottom. Make sure your ribbon's not bunched up weird again in the middle. Go like halfway down and then tie it in. Just a couple of twists. I'm going to put the green here, I think. Sometimes you might want to like tuck your ribbon in a little bit so it doesn't. See how I just kind of tuck the end in there a little bit. Well, you better take her out. She hasn't gone in a while. No, because she doesn't. I'm recording now. Okay, so there's that one. Now let's go down over here. I think I'm going to do so I actually have some white daisies because there's white daisies in the sign that I'm going to pop in here and there as well. That's another reason why I'm not going to do ribbon in every tie. Depending on what color ribbons you're using or what color your sign is, you know, use the flowers. You could pink flowers. Excuse me. It's a little warm in here, folks. Warm day today in upstate New York. We're going to be making fall wreaths, so maybe it'll cool down a little bit once we start making fall. It seems like, honestly, we just got done with winter and I was dying for warm temperatures, but man, and I don't have my AC on because my AC is really loud in my craft room, so. All right, let's do one of these. What did I do for my other bow tie? I did orange, so I'll do the green for the bow tie on this one. Just like that. I think I'm going to do one more set of ribbon. And then I'm going to add my flowers. I want to make sure I was recording. Phew! I'm going to put this right over here. I do have another set of pipe cleaners, so I'm just going to tuck those in. Just kind of tuck them in or clip them off, whatever. It doesn't really matter, just so they're not seen. They're not sticking out. You can most certainly add ribbon to every pipe cleaner if you want. I just don't like to do that on the top. I know you could add a bow if you want. A lot of wreath makers like to add bows. I'm not a big bow person myself. It's just a personal preference. If I have a customer that asks for a bow, I will make them a bow. But if I'm just making my wreath and I'm doing it in my own time, I don't usually add a bow. I feel everybody's wreaths need to be unique. And honestly, when I see, I love the terry bow, but when I see all these terry bows on wreaths, in my opinion, it kind of makes them all look the same. Because, you know, a terry bow is a terry bow. You know, you're not going to, nobody's ever going to make a terry bow look any different because there's a set method to make a terry bow, and it's always going to look like that. So I don't know. I just feel like terry bows, all these terry bows and wreaths to make them all look the same. That's just my personal opinion. And I like to be a little bit different from the norm too. So since everybody's making terry bows, I feel like, why do I have to do that too? You know what I mean? Does that sound crazy? All right. What color do I want to put in that? I'm going to do this one. And then we're going to be done with the ribbon. Even though I have some tails left, there is a spot here, but I think I'm going to stick some flowers in there. There. What's that? Look how pretty that is. Look how pretty and summery that is. Tell me that isn't gorgeous for a summer wreath, for our last summer wreath. So I have some of these flowers, and then we'll be done. I don't think I'm going to use the pink, but I do have some yellow and I do have some white. These aren't really sunflowers. These are Gerber daisies. These are yellow Gerber daisies. And I'm not going to pluck off the top like I usually do. I'm going to give a little bit of leave a little bit of a stem on here, because I'm not going to glue them in just yet. I'm just going to kind of stick them in to the mesh, and then I'll glue them in later. So the stem helps to hold it in the mesh. I only have a couple of these yellow ones, and then we'll do some white to match the sign. These are good to save too. I got a tip from somebody. Don't throw these away. Clip these off, these pieces, and save them, because if you have like little embellishments that you want to add that are made of styrofoam, like maybe little pumpkins for a fall wreath, you can stick this right in the end of the pumpkin and use that to stick it into your wreath. So save those. Just gonna put one right up here, I think. And I'm just sort of like feeding it into the mesh. See that? See how pretty that is? And these are a little bit smaller. I'm not quite sure if these are still Gerber daisies. I think I got these at Dollar General. But we're gonna put these a little bit closer, because there is that one in the sign. It might be a little bit too close. I don't like that there. Let's see. It's so hard for me to tell where to put things when I'm. Let me get on this other side and see. Again, I'm just sort of feeding it into the mesh, and the mesh is kind of holding it. And I'll glue it later. Put one there. Put one here next to the yellow one. They're two together, so. Let's see, I don't want to overload it. There's some empty spaces, so I'm just going to sort of feed. Just going to sort of tuck it in. That's not going to work. This one I'm probably going to have to glue. That's not going to stick on its own. Oh no! No, I don't like those because there's two on one and it's not looking right. So I got to find one where there's just one. It's not sticking in there right for me. Hold on a second. Let's try this one. Again, I don't want to go too crazy. I'm just going to try to fill in some of these empty spots here. I think that's going to be good. Maybe I'll put one more right up here. I think I'm done. And I think that says summer 100,000%. And I'm happy with that. So I'm going to stick this on my wall and snap a pic so I can show you guys, and then we'll get the video out. If you have any questions, as always, give me a ring. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later. Thank you.